Well, hello friends and welcome back to my channel. I'm Renee and we're in the outdoor kitchen this morning because it is nice and cool out here today and we got some baking to do. I have to stock my market stand for the weekend. We're going to do the big batch brownies. I'm going to do the regular and the peanut butter swirl because that is what I sell a lot of. So any of you who are getting ready for a bake sale, this is a hot seller too. And then we're going to do some garlic pull-apart bread. Again, this is all for the market stand. So I'm going to be making a boatload of it. And we're also going to do focaccia bread. But I'm going to show you how to do focaccia bread out of simple pizza dough. After all, it's like pizza's younger brother. It is an Italian flatbread. So that's what we're going to do today. So let's get busy because we got a lot to do. Now I'm going to do a double batch. I usually make this in my Big Daddy mixer, but I'm going to see if I can't get it all in here. I don't want to have to go in the house. So I got to crack 14 eggs. This is going to be fun. We'll get all these eggs cracked and then we'll get moving with the rest of it because this will take me just a minute. Okay, friends, I got all 14 eggs in there. Now, we're going to, look at that. See them all in there? I'm hoping I can get all this in here. We're going to give it a whirl, though. We got to measure out 8 cups of sugar. I got to move this way. There we go. There is our sugar. And no, it's not a sugar bomb because I'm making 2 half sheet pans, which does amount to quite a bit. See that? There we go. All right, we're just going to mix this up real slow until it's all mixed together. I'm going to put on 2. That's going to take a few minutes to mix up. Okay, friends, we got this mixed up. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to add my cocoa powder to this. I'll put the recipe in the description box, but remember, I'm making a bulk amount, so I use an entire container of this when I make a double batch. Winds up being about 4 cups, roughly. All right, now to that, we're going to add our 1 tablespoon of vanilla. Okay, and then we're going to do our teaspoon, that's a half tablespoon, our teaspoon, 2 teaspoons of salt. Yes. No, 3 teaspoons of salt. This is the double batch. There we go. Perfect. All right, and we're going to mix this up just a little bit. Let that get mixed in. I don't want cocoa powder everywhere. Okay, friends. Now that's getting a little thick, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my 2 cups of milk. And this is a half cup, so there we go. There's our 2 cups of milk. We're going to let that mix some more. Just mix it on low because you don't want it all over your kitchen. Okay, friends. This is going to be a tight fit. I have measured out 6 cups of flour that 6 cups of flour that needs to go in here. Okay. Now we're just going to mix that very, very carefully. Maybe like on 1. And we're just going to let that mix in because the last we have to put in is butter. And then I think it's all going to fit. But that's the last we have is butter. So we'll let this get mixed up nice and then we'll get our butter in there. Okay, friends. That's our flour. This is the last we have to put in here. And that would be our beautiful butter. And this is, I mean, this is just going to fit. This is almost pushing it. But I just mix it real slow. It mixes beautifully. Okay? I don't want to waste none of that butter. I want to scrape it all in there. All right, here we go. We're going to turn that on 1 and just let that mix really slow till it's all mixed in. Okay, friends, we did it. I'm just going to tap that off there. Okay, let me set this in my sink. Okay, friends, I've got my oven set to 350. I got my pan sprayed. Let's get these filled. Look how much is in there. It's like almost to the top. Okay. I just divvy them up between the two. And I mixed it slow and I mixed it so that nothing would be unmixed, nothing would be left behind. So perfect. Okay. I don't want to miss anything. I don't want to waste anything. I want this bowl completely scraped out. All right, there we go. So many times people just dump the contents out of the bowl and they never scrape it. And they waste half their baked goods in that bowl. And it makes me crazy. I just want to reach through the screen and scrape out their bowl for them. Especially these videos that do everything in, you know, under a minute. It's crazy. These are beautiful sellers, friends. If you sell, your family's going to love these. Your bake sale clients are going to love these. These are beautiful. All right, so we're going to do one plain. Let me get that off there. And then we're going to do one with peanut butter. Okay, my peanut butter is real easy to do. I just take a little peanut butter and I put it in the microwave. So now I'm just going to go through and I'm just going to put chunks, dump it out, scrape it out. All around. I don't want to waste none. I'm scraping it with my knife. There we go. All right, now all I do is I go sideways and just swirl it. It works out nice. And then I go longwise. And you get a nice little swirl in there. Beautiful, huh? All right, that's it. Now, these, as soon as the oven is preheated, because again, if you're cooking meat or a dinner or a casserole, it's not going to hurt it to sit in your oven and wait for it to reach temp. But when you're doing baked goods, you want that oven at the proper temp. So as soon as that oven is preheated, these are going in for 30 minutes, and I'll see you when they're done. Okay, friends, now that our brownies are in the oven, we're going to start with our garlic pull-apart bread. And I make my garlic pull-apart bread strictly with my Amish white bread. Works beautiful. I use that for a lot of stuff. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put 2 tablespoons of yeast in our bowl. And with that, we're going to do our sugar. I'm doubling this. So I'm putting 2/3 cup of sugar in there. And I'm going to put my 4 cups of water in here. And we're going to give this a little stir. All right. Now, I want this to bloom because I want to make sure this yeast is good. This yeast has been in my fridge for a little bit, and I haven't used it for a few weeks, so I want to make sure. I can already smell it. It's good. All right, so now that I know it's bloomed, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our oil in there. And I'm using a 1/2 cup. I will definitely put the recipe for a single batch in here, and a single batch of this dough will make 2 loaves of bread. Okay, so here goes our flour. This is going to make 4 loaves. There goes my salt. My gosh, don't forget your salt. If you forget your salt, your bread will be literally tasteless. Okay, oh, I need my dough hook. Okay, now we're going to put this in our mixer here. Okay, and we're just going to mix that slowly until it incorporates. And then I'm just going to, you can take it out then and knead it by hand if you want, but I'm going to let my machine do all the kneading for me. So once this gets mixed up, then you can turn it up to 2 and just let it go. Once it's incorporated, let it knead for about 8 to 10 minutes in your machine, or the same by hand. All right, I'll see you when this is mixed and kneaded. Okay, friends, our dough is finished. We're going to lay it out here on our table. I'm going to move this aside. And we're just going to roll this into a nice ball. This is beautiful dough. Nice and soft and supple. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray this. I'm going to put this in here, and I'm just going to spray the top of it a little bit so it doesn't stick to the plastic. And we are simply going to cover this because my shower caps aren't big enough. So we're going to use this. Okay? And this is just going to sit in the corner of my kitchen. Beautiful, till it doubles in size. And when we're ready to work with that, friends, I'll be back and we'll put that together and we'll make some beautiful garlic pull-apart bread. Okay, friends, now that we got our brownies out of the oven, they're cooling on the counter, we've got our other bread put together, it's rising. We're going to put our pizza dough together for our focaccia bread. And this is my pizza recipe, and I'll be more than happy to share it. It really is a good dough. So we're going to need 1 tablespoon of yeast. I'm going to do 5 tablespoons of milk powder. And if you don't have milk powder, use milk, warm milk, instead of the water. Okay? We're also going to do a tablespoon of sugar. And with that, I'm going to do 2 cups of warm water. All right. That's it. We're just going to give this a stir. I want to make sure that yeast blooms. I know it's good. I just used it. But I want to make sure it does bloom. You don't want to put all your precious ingredients into dead yeast. So it's always a good idea, even if you know it is good, it's always a good idea to just set it aside and let it bloom. Okay, friends. Our yeast has bloomed. It's beautiful. We're going to do a 1/4 cup of oil. And we're going to do 5 cups of flour in here. And this is going to make 4 nice dough balls. All right, there we have it. We're also going to do, we need 1 tablespoon of salt. So I'm going to do 2 1/2 tablespoons. We're good. Okay, so now we're just going to put this in here and we're going to get to mixing this. Because once this is incorporated, friends, you're going to want to let this knead for at least about 14 minutes. No more than 15 minutes. Otherwise, you'll over knead it. All right, we're just going to let that go. We'll be back when that's done. Okay, friends, this has been going for about 14 minutes. I let it go for. This is beautiful dough. Gorgeous. That is some beautiful, soft, gorgeous pizza dough. Okay. Look at that. Beautiful. I'm just going to knead it so it gets into a nice ball. And then we're just going to simply, if you was making pizza, this would make 4 pizzas. But because we're making a nice hefty focaccia bread, this is only going to make 2. So we're just going to divide this in half and make a nice ball. So easy to work with. Just beautiful dough. Soft and gorgeous. All right, so what we're going to do, I got semolina flour here because we make a lot of pizza. We're going to put a little bit on our board. We're going to set our dough balls on there. We're going to cover them with just a towel. That's it. And these are going to just sit like that. We're going to set them right here on the stove. And they can stay right there. Because the next thing we got to do, after I clean up my mess, of course, is we can start working on our garlic pull-apart bread. Okay, friends. We're going to start working on, look at our bread. Look at our dough. Isn't that gorgeous? We're going to start working on that. Soft and beautiful. I've got 2 sticks of butter in here. And this is for the garlic pull-apart bread. So I'm going to add all my garlic in it. You can put as much or as little as you want in. You can never have too much, you know. And then I'm just going to sprinkle parsley in here. Same with that. As little or as much as you want. I'm starting with that. And we're going to mix this all up into this pan. This is a pan I melted the butter in. You're definitely going to want to melt your butter. And this is going to be messy. Okay? We're going to set that aside. We're going to leave all that right there just in case we need it. Okay? Look at that beautiful dough. I'm not going to worry about punching it down because I'm going to cut it all up. Right here, this bowl. We're going to want to dump our butter in there. All our stuff. Okay? All right, good. Okay, now with this dough, we're just going to start, let's see, we're just going to start cutting chunks. Because we want chunks. And it's all going to get chunked up. Big chunks, because you're going to mix it all up anyway. Perfect. And they don't have to all be the same size. Just cut it up in chunks. There we go. All right, my hands are clean, of course. This is the messy part. We're just gonna start mixing this all up. Pull it apart so that all that butter and that beautiful garlic, isn't that wonderful, gets in there. Just look at that. Gorgeous. I just pull it apart and make sure everything is covered. This stuff is wonderful. All right, so now that I got that all mixed up, it's beautiful. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start filling our bread pans. I have them pre-sprayed and I have a little parchment paper in there, okay? Let me put these up here. This normally makes 4 loaves of white bread, but it will make 5 loaves of the pull-apart bread. And this stuff is divine. Just even it out and it'll be beautiful. This one's got a little too much in it. Put that one down in there. There we go. All right, now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna drizzle this on each one of these. perfect. That works out beautiful. All right, let me wash my hands. Okay, friends, what we're gonna do with these, look how beautiful those are. We're gonna set those right over here, and we're gonna cover them up with a towel. And those are just gonna sit there and rise. Perfect. All right, I'm gonna clean up my mess because I don't want any of that garlic in my focaccia dough. Okay, friends, we're gonna use my cast iron pans for the focaccia bread. Turns out beautiful with that. We're gonna put oil in here. You want a lot of oil in your focaccia bread, okay? All right, so what we have here, we're gonna take one right here. And we're gonna take this one right here, okay? And, whoa, I got a fly. We're just gonna push it down because we want it the size of the pan, okay? We're not gonna put no dimples in it yet. We're just pushing it down and shaping it, okay? All right, so now we have to cover this because this is gonna rise again. And this is when it's gonna get nice and bubbly and beautiful. Actually, I wanna put a little bit of olive oil on the top of that. All right. Okay. Move that aside. With your focaccia bread, you want to pat that down so that plastic is on that focaccia. Nice. That's going to sit just like that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do both of these with onions and sun-dried tomatoes. So I'm going to get those ready to go while that's rising again. Okay, friends, you can see that our bread has risen up beautifully. So we're going to go ahead, take a look how gorgeous that is. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put them all in the oven. Oh, I got to change the rack. There we go. Now we can put these in here. We can fit all 5 of them in here. Okay, friends, those are going to take only 30 minutes. So while those are in the oven, we'll work on our focaccia bread. Okay, this stuff is fabulous. We're going to go ahead and we're going to reuse that because it's still got to rise a little bit more. Look at how beautiful that is with the big bubbles. So right away, I'm going to put my onions on my focaccia bread. Beautiful. And I'm also going to do these wonderful sun-dried tomatoes, which are just absolutely delicious. And then I'm going to push it all down into there as well. Let me get a little more of these in here. All right, so here we go. Look at how nice and bubbly Just get your fingers in there. Beautiful. All right. That one's going to go on the back of the stove to finish rising. That's how easy it is to make focaccia. Beautiful. Same with this. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm going to put my onions all on here right away. Okay. And here goes our wonderful sun-dried tomatoes. Now you can use fresh tomatoes. I'm using the sun-dried. Beautiful. Take a look at that. Okay, so now we're just going to go ahead and we're going to dimple this up. Beautiful. All right. Our plastic's going back on here because this is going to rise up again. On the back of the stove, it's ready to go. We'll take a look, friends. And I just got them out of the oven. So now I'm just putting a little bit of butter on the top. They're beautiful. The focaccia bread just went in the oven. And that's going to go for about 20 minutes. And I keep mine at 350 degrees. I know a lot of people bake their focaccia bread a little bit higher. And you can. It doesn't hurt anything. But I don't want mine to get real dark and crispy. I like it a little on the softer side. So everybody does it different. If you want a nice crusty focaccia bread, then you bake it at 425 for about 25 minutes. Isn't that beautiful bread? Look at that. And all that parsley on top. It's just gorgeous. Let me get a little more on here. I want to get every bit of this. Beautiful. All right. That's just going to sit right there and cool off. And then we're going to get the focaccia bread out. And then I'll show you everything we've done. Okay, friends. All our bread is done. We got these beautiful loaves of garlic pull-apart bread. And you just pull it apart. You could slice it, but most people just pull it apart, and it's wonderful with spaghetti. We've got our beautiful focaccia breads. And you know what? We'll cut into this. This stuff is wonderful. Just absolutely delicious. And I like mine a little softer. Fabulous. So good, friends. Wonderful. Mr. Wayna. Oh my gosh, friends, this is so good. Come here and try a piece of focaccia. It's nice and soft the way you love it. With the sun-dried tomatoes and the onions, isn't that good?
Oh, it's very delicious.
Here, we'll cut one more slice. And we'll give a piece to Larry and Sharon. So we'll take them each a slice. They'll love it. This stuff is so good. It's so soft. And you can even take and, here we gotta put this on here. All these pieces falling off. There we go. Give those to them to try. Wonderful. And then I'll finish eating that when we're done here. But then we've got, our beautiful brownies. Take a look. I slice those into 20. I get 20 brownies out of each plate, or out of each tray. Will you wipe that off for me, mister? And I'll cut into the brownies so I can show them. Oh, friends, these are wonderful. You like that? Nice and soft. We're gonna slide this over. And we'll cut into this. This is how I cut these. Then I flip it around and I just cut it in thirds. I do it so much. Some people use a guide. I just cut. All right. Take a look at that. This is wonderful. And look at how the swirl is in there. Rich and delicious. Okay, friends. Now that I'm done filling my face, those brownies are divine. Those are a fabulous seller. I will put, because I always double mine, I make more than one batch of everything. I will put all the single recipes in a description box below. I hope you enjoyed this video, friends. All this bread and these brownies are so easy to make. And they're good sellers if you want to do a bake sale. They freeze beautifully, every one of them. And your family's going to love it. You all have a wonderful day. Thanks for hanging out with me in the kitchen, friends. And I'll see you in the next video. And as always, thanks for watching.